Dear audience, welcome to the show POWERchat. In today's episode, we'll be discussing on disaster risk reduction and the recovery activities in Nepal with reference to Nepal's National Reconstruction Authority. Joining us today is Dr. Suman Kumar Karna, Special Advisor to National Reconstruction Authority. Please allow me to welcome him. Welcome to the show, Dr. Karna.
Thank you very much.
How have you been?
Thank you for inviting me here.
How have you been?
I'm doing good. Keeping busy as usual with the ongoing recovery and reconstruction work that we are implementing in earthquake-affected
Well, you bring a lot of experiences from national and international platforms, especially that of the disaster risk reduction. And next half an hour, we'll be discussing on Nepal's National Reconstruction Authority's work. Could you tell us the status of reconstruction and recovery-related activities that were implemented within the banner of National Reconstruction Authority?
I think you have asked a very pertinent question. Many people are eager to hear what is going on. In my understanding, the recovery and reconstruction work that we are presently implementing is moving well. We are making good progress. Lots of out-of-box thinking are going on. Activities on the ground are growing. But I will not hesitate to say that we have not been able to achieve the kind of momentum that we should have on the field. So we still have a lot to do. We are definitely catching up, but we are on the right track. Initially, we were a little conservative in approach. As we have been doing this first time, so there were lots of things which we were doing by experimenting. Recently, we have been able to make simultaneous progress on several fronts. We are going away from focusing only to shelter. We are giving attention to other sectoral intervention as well. So, in summation, I think it's going well, and we are on the right track.
There is criticism that NRA is not working in line with its mandate. Sometimes there is media criticism, sometimes public criticism, and you also admitted that there are some lapses.
Yes.
What are the lapses? I
think it is important, having criticism is not wrong, but criticism for the sake of criticism should not be there, I would like to emphasize that the kind of recovery and reconstruction program we are implementing is very comprehensive and robust. We are not trying to do something very quick and dirty. We have a very long-term program. We are committed to make this recovery program resilient, safer. We are applying Build Back Better principles, disaster risk reduction, and at the same time, this whole recovery and reconstruction program is very inclusive in nature. And we are giving a special attention to the marginalized people, woman-headed families, disabled, and so on. So, in spite NRA dominant attention on housing reconstruction, we are still facing some challenges on the ground. As you know, more than 95% of the beneficiaries have received the first tranche, but still the number of families requesting for second and third tranche are limited. And if you carefully analyze the whole housing reconstruction, because that's the one sector that is being championed or being core of the overall recovery and reconstruction program of Nepal. So I would like to give you some insight from housing reconstruction program that we have been implementing. If you look at from little close eye, you will see there are three different scenarios on the ground. After distributing this first tranche of housing grant to almost more than 95% of population, there are less than half families who have started the housing reconstruction. So half of them, or even more than half of them, have not even started the reconstruction process. Now, those who have started, half of them are not meeting the compliance. As I just mentioned, the principle of building back better, safer reconstruction, and all that. And on top of that, there are many families who are progressing well, but then our engineers are not reaching there on time to inspect the compliance and approve them for additional grants that they are supposed to get. So this situation is there, and the technical assistance that we call, which is central to all this compliance, is playing a role in all the three categories that I just mentioned. So it is important to understand that shelter alone is not a full recovery and reconstruction program that we have envisioned. So what we are doing now is we are also shifting our attention to other activities. We have realized that we are too much dominant by shelter reconstruction. So we are slowly bringing other sectoral interventions into action. Like,
could you explain them in detail? The other interventions that NRA is engaged with.
Like if you see the recent trend, I mean, the number of schools being constructed are rapidly increasing. Our attention to livelihood focused interventions are growing. We have formed a committee. There are regular discussion going on. Some huge programs are coming from different development partners, and similarly, attention to cultural heritage site has rapidly grown recently. You can see many of the sites are now being awarded for reconstruction, conservation, and all that. So the attention is now spread to all other sectors that the present recovery and reconstruction program envision within its portfolio.
Well, National Reconstruction Authority has been working in line with the PDRF, Post-Disaster Reconstruction Framework. But there is again criticism that the NRA, its performance is not in line with what it has already set. The idea, PDRF. What you have to say?
No, I don't think we are not in line of PDRF, because PDRF is a follow-up action of PDNA that we did very well in the beginning, and our PDNA is one of the best PDNA in the world at this moment. So the starting was PDNA, and PDRF is basically a follow-up exercise which puts the assessments into action. So we are very much following what PDRF prescribes, but then yes, there may be issue related with the pace, related with our outreach, related with how comprehensive we are in terms of addressing several different sectoral problems. So those are the areas where one can have some concerns. But having said that, I think it is very important to also understand some background, because criticism is easy to do, but let us not forget that we came here to do this program with many limitations as well. This is the first time in our history that we are addressing recovery needs in such an organized manner. You remember, I mean, we do have these disasters every year, but probably some initiatives were there in Kosi flood, but that was again not a very organized recovery. We just distributed the compensation. But this is the first time we are doing, and particularly of this scale, the local condition is very diverse and evolving. I mean, no one blanket approach can work. I mean, if you see from accessibility point of view, if you see from distance point of view, geography point of view, cultural, ethnicity, it's very diverse. So we are dealing in a very, multi-faceted environment. And we are also dealing with multi-sectoral and multi-stakeholders environment. So it's quite a challenging in itself, And in spite NRA, we all understand is an independent institution. I would again say it is still not a very autonomous institution. So we have to depend on many other institutions to implement our program. I mean, our main role is coordination, Implementation is still being done by the respective ministries, and they have their own situation and limitations, And for them also it is very new context. and they are overwhelmed. They often used to be overwhelmed with their own regular activities. Now we have added so much of additional activities of this post-disaster recovery program. So it's not easy for them as well. I mean, we cannot blame anyone, but it takes a bit of time to settle down and start addressing the problem that they have been entrusted with. So it is important that NRA should get support from all sides. Our financially, if you see, our hands are very tight. There was a provision of National Recovery Fund in the Act itself, but even at the end of 1.5 years, we do not have that recovery fund in action, or in operation.
Well, Dr. Karna, you informed us of very important issue that NRA is an independent body, but it's not working independently, because the coordination kind of things NRA has been doing from its inception, but there are ministries, they are implementing the activities indeed. What are the challenges and opportunities, and how do you coordinate with the stakeholders and actors in relation to recovery and reconstruction related ones?
I think coordination is a major role of NRA. I mean, as I said, this is probably the only institution which is working with so many different stakeholders together. You name it, like donors, private sector, civil society, government ministries, departments, volunteer organizations, youths, universities. So you name it, and all different organizations with their own mandates and interests are there associated with NRA. And NRA responsibility is to work, coordinate with all these different institutions. So it's itself a challenging task, and let us not forget that though NRA is a new institution, but the people who are there have largely come from the same old school of thoughts, or business as usual environment. So for them also it will take a bit of time to perform to the standard that NRA expects or NRA demands, because there is urgency, there is a pressure of time, because people are struggling on the ground. So everything we want to do in a fast track, and with so many stakeholders together. So it's a bit challenging, but then we are slowly settling down. We have now CLPIU, that is central level program implementation unit in different ministries. We have subsidiary bodies at the district level, we call it DLPIU. Then we have an NRA office at the field level. So and there are different partners, as I said, the stakeholders, different development partners. So we are working together. We are trying to deepen our collaboration with development partners. It's not only they are coming with proposal and we are approving. We don't want to be just an approving agent. We want to work hands in glove kind of environment with development partners and implement projects with equal responsibilities. And we have recently innovated, or you can say we have recently bringing that kind of situation where development partners work closely with us. And if I have to give an example, as I said, I mean, technical assistance is one central part of the overall housing reconstruction, and that is where NRA is comparatively weak. And these development partners always have an edge on that. So we have requested development partners to come, forget the housing grant. Housing grant will be given by the government. You bring your technical assistance and make sure that the beneficiaries reconstruct their houses as we have envisioned, follows the Build Back Better principles. They get necessary awareness, empower them, improve their resiliency, and at the end, let us have their houses and other sectoral interventions in place as we have planned.
Well, Dr. Karna, you again raised important issue that the authority is working along with the old mindset, but it is the matter of urgent works, the recovery and reconstruction. How difficult it is for you or the people working with the NRA, to reach out to the quake affected people in such condition?
No, I mean, let me correct. I mean, I did not mean that we are working with, old traditional manner, but that's the kind of transformation we are in, because as I said, it's no one's fault. I mean, this is the first time we are, for this generation, we are facing of this scale of disaster, and this is the first time we are addressing the comprehensive needs of recovery in the field. So it is new to us, there are fortunate few people who have experience outside country, have brought some knowledge and experience from there, but still, I mean, those few people will not be able to give all solutions to this problem. And as you understand, I mean, every disaster is different, So we have our own context, we have our own realities, and we are moving well, I believe. And there is no shortcut method to this. I mean, because we want to make this recovery resilient. The resilient means there is a process, it cannot come overnight. So there is a process involved, and there is a due time which will be needed to implement this program.
You worked with numerous international organizations, especially in the areas of reconstruction and recovery. Do you think that that experience working at National Reconstruction Authority, or how can such things be adjusted within our context?
No, I think very valid question. I mean, yes, I have worked in few different contexts in few different countries, but as I just said, I mean, every disaster is different, and that way we are also different. I mean, this is the first case probably in the history of earthquake where it came in duet, two very strong earthquake came within the span of 2 weeks, and then so many aftershocks. So that has an impact, that prolonged our emergency phase of intervention. So this whole, again, this Gorkha earthquake was different than many others, and as you know, we have our own realities. We are moving. We have this political instability, poor country. Our preparedness is very weak. We still do not have, independent institutions. We are still working on an old act. So all these are our given conditions, But still, I mean, we are not here closing our eyes and doing what we know. We are open. We have been able to, bring expertise, knowledge from outside. We have many consultants, advisors with us who brings lots of valuable knowledge from different experience, ranging from Haiti to Gujarat and Sikkim and Pakistan. But only thing what we have to be careful enough is to translate those experiences, rich knowledge into our realities. We cannot simply replicate those ideas. So we have to be careful when we are bringing those knowledge into our context and see how it can be adjusted with our local realities. And I think we are particular enough to do that, and that's how whatever we are doing is different, we cannot, no one can say that it has been copied from somewhere, because we have tailored it to our requirements. We have adjusted it with our realities, and that is how we are moving. And that's also one reason, we are a little slow, because as I said, this is the first time we are managing. So many things we are doing after lots of inspection, lots of thoughts process going behind it. And things are so evolving on the ground that there is nothing called permanent. We have prepared different policies, guidelines, SOPs, but now we are simplifying them. We are trying to adjust them with the new situations, because things are so evolving on the ground.
Well, effective monitoring and financial management is one of the important aspects of recovery and reconstruction related works. How is NRA working to ensure that the effective monitoring and financial management is in line with the public's expectation?
You see, I mean, I think very true. We have an NRA here, but as I said, we have our district offices as well, DLPAUs, ministries has their subsidiary bodies at the district level as well, who are mainly responsible for implementing programs. So there are institutional setups, there are people on the ground, but then yes, there is still a lot to do. You know, I mean, our monitoring system is there, but I don't think it's a kind of a state of art situation. You know, just by doing field visits will not help. You know, we have to improve our monitoring system, and based on monitoring, we have to also look at the reporting. You know, I mean, so there has to be a more robust system of monitoring at different levels by different stakeholders. We have to reach from community to different other stakeholders who are implementing the program. So, and then there are many programs which are being implemented by the donors or development partners. So we also have to keep monitoring their activities, because there is always an opportunity to have some good practices there, you know, that we can bring up and then scale up and implement in other areas. So we have a lot to do yet in the monitoring area. We are slowly, you know, picking up, but the whole robust system is not yet there.
Well, Dr. Karna, we are coming to the end of the show. There are many things to discuss. NRA is also, you know, there is a kind of criticism from the public part that NRA is not maintaining proper information and communication surveillance, that the necessary information is not available in the public domains. How can the information and communication surveillance be strengthened?
No, very true. I mean, we are working on it. We realize that our communication system is still not the state of art, kind of, you know, and communication at different levels with so many different stakeholders I just mentioned. I mean, there's a very strong demand of proper communication, proper information sharing, timely information sharing, accuracy, and all that. We understand that, and realizing that it is very important element of any recovery and reconstruction program, we have recently launched, or you can say we have recently initiated discussion and dialogue with one of the international organizations who are experienced in developing a complete MIS system for such kind of post-disaster recovery and reconstruction program, and they have recently submitted us their technical proposal to look at. And possibly we are going to get this thing done on the fast track mode within the 3 months, and that will really help us, you know, to have a very complete, comprehensive model of information sharing, you know, ensuring their accuracy, maintaining the regular updation, and all that kind of thing that is any information management requires, and that will also help us to make our decisions informed, you know. So we will not be making decisions just on the basis of perceptions, but we will try to substantiate it with facts and figures, and that is where this MIS system will help us. So yes, there is still lacking where we need to improve, but we are very open. We are also in the process of developing a communication strategy itself, and I think media has a big role in that. You know, and we are trying to keep as close relation possible with the media people in terms of providing them right information on right time, because you are the one who can be a watchdog to us, you know. I mean, we do not, it's not that you are not allowed to criticize, but then we also like to see that good things are appreciated, and that is where a true media reporting is needed and helpful to, you know, encourage the kind of task we have undertaken and implementing in a very difficult environment.
Well, Dr. Karna, do you have anything to say that I have left asking you very quickly?
I think, you know, all I would like to say is that recovery and reconstruction program led by NRA is on the right track. You know, we are definitely running little late, but not too late. resilient recovery is both an outcome and a process. So we have to be little patient. We need to be little patient. And as I said, I mean, role of media is very important. You keep telling us where we are making mistakes, or where we are lacking, or where is the gap, and keep us on our toes.
Okay, Dr. Karna, thank you very much for joining us. It was pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
Dear audience, time now to wrap up the show. Keep watching us. See you next week. Namaste.